issues with their legs and their injuries. So I'm talking Brandon Roy and Derrick Rose.
Ooh,
Um, Two great players. Brandon Roy probably played what 6 years in
if that.
in
Uh,
Portland, right? Probably like 4 good years, two on and off kind of thing. Very, very short career. We got to look that up. If someone wants to comment how long Brandon Roy was in the league, kind of how many points he was averaging, I don't have the numbers up to be honest, but you hear a lot of great players talk about Brandon Roy, Kobe Bryant, right?
right.
All these players, 10 years ago talking about how great he was. And he was really balling out for Portland. Portland looked like they were on their way, right, with him being
Right,
there, right?
right.
And kind of to the same effect that Derrick Rose kind of had too, in Chicago. They didn't really expect much. He didn't really have much of a team. Both of them didn't, like, sure, Brandon Roy had Aldridge, right? Peak Aldridge. But Chicago, they had a defensive team. They're winning
Defensive,
games
yeah.
like 87-75. Like that's
Yeah,
the type
back in
of
those
game that
days.
you would get, right? It'd be a mucky
Yeah,
game, right?
yeah.
But Derrick Rose was once again pulling a whole team and like taking them somewhere. So if you take the injuries aside, who would have been the better player? Who would have had the better career?
Derrick Rose.
Derrick Rose?
Derrick
And that's a
Rose.
solid. That's a lot.
Bro, they changed the contract rules because of him. Because
Hmm.
I think he averaged a certain amount of points. So they changed it where the teams are able to give you a max contract. I think after 2 or 3 years in the NBA, if I'm not
And
mistaken.
your rookie,
I
yeah,
can't remember
in the midst of your rookie
your
contract,
rookie
right?
year. So I mean, that's generation, bro. That's gonna help guys in the future, like 50 years from
Yeah,
now. You know what I'm trying to say? It's gonna call it the
yeah.
Derrick Rose rule. Brandon Roy was nice, so don't get it twisted, bro. I remember those nights watching those Portland Trailblazer games. Brandon Roy was nice, bro. He was clutch,
Hmm.
man. It's sad that sad that both their careers got derailed by injuries, but I definitely would go with Derrick Rose.
Yeah.
Um, the only thing I'm scared about Derrick Rose is that he wasn't the greatest shooter like at the peak of his prime. So if he
Hmm.
didn't get injured, would he have worked on his shot at that point where he can shoot outside of the paint or score outside the paint, stuff like
Yeah.
that? Brandon Moore was more of a shooter than Derrick Rose is.
Hmm.
But still, Derrick Rose at the age of 21, 22 brought his team. If those Miami Heat teams were not around with LeBron, D Wade, and Chris Bosh, I mean,
Deadly.
they could have made the finals a couple times coming out of the East because the East is always
Yeah.
not that strong. But I don't know, bro. Like
Because they
it's
were
hard to
first,
remember.
right? They
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 were
were they
first,
were
yeah.
first in the East for
They were
one
first
of
in the
those
East,
years. Yeah.
but the Miami Heat still like watched them in the playoffs. Don't get it twisted, but they
Yeah.
were still first, and like it's hard to get that to like recapture that feeling. But bro, like when Derrick Rose was in the league, man,
Hmm.
like we all thought he was like that's it. He's the next one
Yeah.
up. He's the next LeBron, whatever you want
Yeah.
to call it, Kobe, whatever name you want to throw out there. We thought this was it. You know what I'm trying to say? I don't think we had those expectations of Brandon Roy. I think Brandon Roy was more. I'm comparing the two. I'm just saying. I think Brandon Roy was more of a surprise to NBA fans
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
Derrick Rose was for sure.
Yeah.
So,
Derrick
but
Rose is definitely chosen. Like I remember, like somebody wrote his SATs. Like you know what I mean. They're like, get this guy in. Oh, for sure. He
oh
admitted to that
shit,
a long time ago. He's like he or no, he got fined for it. He got fined for it
oh
because
okay,
realist and that's probably another rule. From what I recall, this is like 10 years ago where he admitted it like 2 3 years after he was in the league, right? Like it got leaked that happened. And what should happen to you is that like you should be like banned for a year or something. There was a huge kind of like penalty or sentence that he was gonna get, but they said, nah, that's Derrick Rose. Like, he can't not play. Like,
right, right,
forget
right,
it. That
right.
was in the past. That was in college. He was there for 1 year. Okay. They literally did this. They're like, oh, that's what happened? Oh, okay. Sorry. Kind of thing. So they allowed him, and they should have given him a good penalty for that. But the way I'm looking at it is, okay, that was like, he got drafted, what, 2006, 2007, around those years, something
Around
like
those
that.
times, yeah, around those times,
Maybe
yeah.
even later, 2008 or something like that. But just the way that NBA has changed, and this is hypothetical once again. Do you think that if Derrick Rose played longer, do you think he would have got figured out? Because sure he was strong, and like I said, take the injuries aside, but just think of regular wear and tear. Do you think he would have slowed down to the point where he worked on a shot. What if he didn't figure out the shot? What if he didn't work on it at all? Like,
What?
Brett,
Sorry, go ahead. My bad.
right? Like, I'm just trying to think of that sense. Like, he came out bang, like, and I'm just thinking like that happens a lot of times where like a rapper comes out bang, and then they're gone after one or two albums. You know what I mean? Like some players play nice, bam, they get figured out, right? Like I'm trying to think of a couple players like Tyrese Evans from Chicago.
Oh,
From
Tyreek.
Tyreek Evans from
Yeah, Tyreek Evans.
Sacramento.
Sacramento.
Figured
Yeah,
out right now. Tyrese Halliburton figured out.
he figured it out. Yeah, that's deep. I know it's deep. Yo,
You know
he
what
is
I
deep.
mean?
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. D Rose is a baller. Like, you know what I mean? And like, I mean, his career lasted all the way up until like last year, right? He just retired. But would he have been as impactful? Would he have gotten better and better year after year? I feel like Brandon, and I hate to say it because like I don't want to shortchange him because he never had the chance to prove himself. But Brandon Roy to me seems like a better fit for a longer, better career. Essentially, is what I'm
I'm
saying.
not mad. I'm not mad at that.
They're both not 6'7". Like Brandon Roy probably has an inch or two on D Rose, but Brandon Roy wasn't dunking on people every night. He had a shot. He had a lot of things, right, that would have made him last. So I'm really impartial with those two. I'm a fan of both. So I
Same.
don't know if anyone wants to comment and let us know which one you think is better or would have had a better career minus the injuries. Please let us know because I'm stumped to be honest. That's kind of it's a weird one, but it's a good one. It's a weird one, but it's a good one.
Right. Yeah. Because yeah, it'd be hard because it's now the mentality of the player now. Derrick Rose. If
Yeah.
because if he didn't get injured or anything like that, would he have said, okay, well, this is what's working. Let me continue doing it. Let me continue doing it. Let me do it. I don't know if you're gonna agree with me or not, but he reminds me of like a Dwight Howard. I feel like Dwight Howard has not changed his game at all in the whole
Yeah.
years that he was in the NBA.
Hmm.
That like that's why Orlando got rid of him eventually, even though he wanted to leave, kind of. But Orlando's probably looking at him like there's only so much you do, bro.
There's
Yeah,
so
you're a
much
good
you could do.
defender. There's only so much you can do. And
Yeah.
like Kobe started getting annoyed with him when he was in LA. He played with James Harden, who some people would say is the second best shooting guard ever, third, whatever. Sorry, third,
Hmm.
my bad. And again, Houston didn't really do much as a duo. So yeah, so it all depends on the mentality because people always said
Yeah.
Dwight Howard was a fun boy. He didn't take the game serious. That's why he didn't up his game. So
Yeah.
I'd have to know the personality of these guys to be like, oh yeah, I could see Derrick Rose elevating his game to something better or different or sustainable for
Yeah.
the years to come. So that's the only reason why. But I'm not mad at the Brandon Roy if you would choose Brandon Roy just because um, his game his game can translate to a longer career than Derrick Rose the way he used to play. Because Derrick Rose was jumping every play, bro, every possession, jumping,
Yeah.
landing hard, and like a lot of
Yeah.
people would say that contributed to his knees being compromised throughout his whole career.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a very good comparison. A lot of people probably wouldn't even make that comparison,
Yeah.
but it's definitely a decent one to kind of see who you would probably go with in the basketball barbershop talk.